evening, everyone. And we have so much to talk about. Like, news was breaking right before we got on this. Yeah. But let me just start with intros. I'm Joshua, ENFP Hoops, joined as always by AmbeeWrites.
What's up, guys?
Let's start with the dream. Well, let's just start there first.
Yeah.
Do you want to start talking about the preseason game, or do we want to talk about the trade first?
Man, we might as well go ahead and get the trade out of the way.
Okay.
Because it's obvious that they're going all in on AD being the backup too. This is the only thing I could think of because, like, Leah Brown played so well. And I'm glad they're not.
She really did.
She played so well. And, like, her activity on both offense and defense was great. Her instincts are great for the game. And I'm just glad we're not losing her for nothing. But I'm almost 100% that because AD showed up healthy and they played well, that it's pretty much set in stone at this point.
They were our most consistent bucket off the bench, like by far. Like they were a starter the first game, but yeah, like outside of Alicia, like they were the most hottest shooter, and it's like, man, and just how much we invested into them, how much they mean to the Atlanta community. Like, I totally get it. And Kubai balled out too. Like, she went 100% from the floor in the first game, and like she made the correct reads. I liked her on the defensive end, crashed the glass, especially until Rupert gets back. It gives us like an extra body. I'm okay with it. And then we'll have to make another tough decision in about a couple months when Repair comes back in late June. But for right now, I think we are going to suspend her. Like, both AD and Kubai were part of like the media day content that was released today. So, but man, it's tough because I was wanting Leah Brown so much. Like,
I know, and I totally got it. Once I finally got a good look at her, I'm like, yeah, she can stick in this league, but it's just with so many moves that have to be made. Like, it's a lot of players, especially that's getting cut today, that are cut from a W cloth, and there's not enough spots, and it sucks. So we have to make moves.
It really does. We're going to be talking a lot about that, not enough spots. But really quick, I was on PTO today, so I just got to experience fully like the chain of events. So yesterday, Leah Brown was part of Content Day. Like, she released some of the footage like on her IG. Then when the Dream released it, she was not included. I'm like, okay, we're going with AD and Kubai.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm too obsessed with caps. I look at basketball too much. It's a given. I was looking at Connecticut, like, okay, they made 2 cuts. They cut Clouden and Bickle. That means they have 10 players that are going to do something. And then, like, an hour after that, that's when I found out about the Leah Brown trade. So I just got to see the full process. I've never seen that before. So that was interesting. So. And yeah, like you said, she balled out in preseason. And first of all, for her, I'm really glad that she didn't just get cut by us, and she's going to be on our roster. So I'm really happy that she gets to develop. Again, like, with expanded rosters, no way we let go of her. It was a great draft pick. Again, I had her as a late first rounder, still behind that, especially with what we saw in preseason. But yeah, and I don't know, it gives some like Tiffany Hayes type vibes. Like, obviously, completely different in, like, what the players have accomplished, obviously. But getting something when we could have gotten nothing. That's,
very true.
Again, a good move by Padover, and it was really thinking about the player, too. And, like, I don't know. Like, I just really like our organization, how we're handling things. Like, man. So, but... It's tough losing Leah, but at the same time, I understand like, what made the decision really hard is none of the 3 players that were competing for the spot had a bad preseason. Not at all. Like they had
exactly
preseasons and deserve to be on a roster, and that's happened. We'll be We will be talking about other teams, believe me. But I'm overall feeling good about our roster. Like, so recapping, like we got the one Danielle, Ari, Haley playing some minutes. The two AD are back up too, like you said, and they were draining threes. And something we brought up too is like how many two-way players we have. AD row on defense and just like be like an efficient shooter for us, and that works out for us. So I can see it going well.
Yeah, it could work.
The three, Ryan Howard, obviously backup. I think we're still figuring that out. Like I still don't know really who are.
You know who I feel like should be the backup three.
You think Mia Coffey, and I get that, but
and this
she's
is not
the starting four. She's my starting four. So
I know.
But like, either way, I see her getting minutes at both.
Yes, she needs to get minutes at both. Like, and if she doesn't start, it's not the end of the world either for me.
It really isn't. So, yeah, like Nia Coffey, Naz Hillman, Monique Billings, they're all going to get minutes. Like, they should get around 20 minutes, all three of those players. And then me here, obviously, swallowing up minutes as the season goes along. Haley Jones, up and down. But again, like, I feel like it's harder for a rookie when you're like playing the point to acclimate the things. And again, 6 assists in her first preseason game. Really good. Lots of potential. She's a lottery pick. Anybody doubting her, it's the same as doubting the dream. We're coming for you. Like, yeah. So, but yeah, how are you feeling overall about what's looking like the final roster?
Well, I mean, looking at it on paper, it looks like it can work.
Yep.
We have a lot of utility players. The shooting, I'm sure it'll get there. I feel like with the offense being able to like spread out a lot more, it gives us a lot of options. So I still feel confident in my girls. Like I'm just all my ladies and ladies, I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm super excited.
And again, like we did not get to see a lot of Ryan and Alicia. I'm glad Ryan got in, played. I don't feel like they played her too much in the preseason game. Like I didn't like it. I'm not like concerned at all with like the shooting not picking up for Ryan until the second half. Let's talk about that preseason game because we're talking about it. Yeah. Before I start, getting angry, are you concerned about what happened in the preseason game and the Sun winning by a lot? Any concerns?
Not necessarily because of what happened. Like if Atlanta had if everybody had been acclimated at the right time, if they had played the starters more, we might not be talking about there being like a route.
Preseason.
I know. Exactly. It's preseason. And the Sun treated it like it was a regular season game. While the Dream was playing a preseason
why
game.
You brought that up, I have a problem with that. Leah, rooting for you. There's players I like on that team, but Sun, you are on my we're coming for you list. Right now, Liberty are one of the main ones, but the Sun is on there. Like, they did that. I'm still mad about the 2021 regular season. Lakin brought up, like, they played their stars the full time, even though they clinched the playoffs to eliminate Sylvia Fowles from making the playoffs. This is personal. Like, it is. I don't know why I wasn't feeling this preseason, but I am feeling it again now. They played their starters the majority of a preseason game. So Coach Wright, like she was saying the right things, like, they wanted to play better. There were lapses and everything, but there were chunks of times where we were playing backups and they still had their starting lineup in. I am not concerned at all. And in fact, I'm ready. I'm just ready for us to play the Sun. They've entered to Liberty. Yeah. I'm ready. Again, like a lot of players on that roster, it's just,
I know. I have like two or three players that I actually like. And I mean, some I'm indifferent, but one in particular, I'm just not a fan of. I don't have to speak on it right here, right now, but as a Candace Parker fan, you should be able to tell which one. But there's a lot. Like I understand, like trying to get some running and trying to get acclimated to like a regular season game, but like that was wild. That was wild to play them as long
and
as
it
they
was
did.
like halfway through the fourth quarter. That's when they finally started putting backups in and everything. So I'm not worried about that preseason game at all. Anybody saying, "Oh, the Dream aren't going to be as good from that preseason game," get out of here. Anyway, I mean, you can stay listening to us. You don't have to leave right now.
I mean, you don't have to leave. Yeah.
Rethink, reevaluate, or just watch the regular season, and you'll be forced to. But just laying it down. So, but yeah,
absolutely.
I was concerned about the point guard. That was one of our things we were concerned about going into the game. Feel a lot better. I don't know if you do, but like Robinson had 2 quick assists to start the game. Airy, 0 turnovers. Like Coach Wright mentioned, blocks should have been included in turnovers. I'm not. Airy played a good game. I thought she was a good distributor, made like better shot selection than the first game. Exactly what I want. Like get it doing like 6 to 7 shots a game. And especially when she was knocking him down. So I'm fine. Like I feel a lot better about that position. Not as much time for a meet here. What did you think of that?
I'm not sure if they have figured out how they're going to integrate her into the rotation just yet, because you want to see what Naz is going to do. You want to see what other players are going to do that are like have more experience. So it's going to be hard right now to try to figure it out, but I feel like maybe like 5 to 10 games in, we'll figure it out. They're just having to put her where they can at this moment in time.
This is nothing against Don. This is nothing against Coach Wright. But she's such a versatile player. It's hard to like figure out like what position you want to play her in, and especially since we have talent in like a position we potentially would have put her in. Like we're just, like you said, we're gonna figure it out as the season goes along, and like the athleticism so much there, like that there's no way that she's not gonna take up minutes the more the season goes along. I loved what I saw in the Mystics game. Loved it. So no worries there. She's gonna get playing time. And I don't know. Like Todrick brought up, like he's a little concerned about the size. I
understand that.
We don't have a true center, but I don't know. Like I feel like we have a good unit that I feel like can come together. I thought Cheyenne played solid at the 5. We both talked about it. We'd rather her be at the 4, but I'm feeling okay.
Just the way it's shaking out.
And it helps us with the spacing still, like, because we pretty much have a lineup that has range and everything. Like, we're obviously working on that with Nas, but we loved what we saw in AU. Definitely has the inside moves that, like, had him at Michigan, and it's definitely translating to the W. Monet Billings is just so much hustle, one of the best underrated rebounders in the game. So, I'm ready.
I feel that.
We're going to talk more about this later this week, like before the game on Saturday, so we can share more thoughts. But I'm feeling confident. I'm still feeling the same confidence, and we're ready to go. Absolutely. So let's move on to some other topics. There's a lot. Let's start with the Aces. What happened there?
Lord Jesus.
One thing that I really appreciate, and then Todrick, I'll definitely get to your question too. One thing I really appreciate is this was not hanging over our heads going into the season. Like that, I thought we weren't going to find out until just that. Like, unfortunately, it's going to be some random Monday where there's not any games, and then we were going to hear about there's going to be a lot of talking to TL. It was going to be messy. This was before the season, so that's one thing I really appreciate. I've heard lots of views on like what the penalty was. Like even some Aces fans saying like they were surprised the penalty wasn't more. Other people saying it was too much. And I go back and forth too, but I just wanted to bring up like I'm just glad we did it before the season. And I thought the investigation was really like Yeah.
It was swift. It was swift.
So
I appreciate that too.
And I'm going to have more props for the league coming up because there were other announcements and stuff. But how do you feel about the overall penalty? They lose the 2025 first round draft pick, and the coaches suspended the first 2 games.
Okay, so there's a lot of nuance that goes into this. And I'm not going to get too deep into like how I am like into like the situation as a whole. I'm gonna just keep it at the suspension and losing the draft pick. But them losing the draft pick, what is that gonna do really? Because there's no room for a draft pick moving forward anyway. So that's like, okay, if they had lost all of them, it really wouldn't matter. It really wouldn't. Especially like they're not gonna have their pick next year because they traded it to LA. And then on top of that, 2025, even though it's a deep class, they still have like I think everybody's is extended through 2025. I mean, it could be more useful then, but it's like they could be like 3-time champions by then. Who knows? Then on top of that, as far as Becky getting suspended for 2 games, also it was a light punishment. I'm glad that there was a punishment, and I'm glad we have somebody to point the finger at. But at the same time, like, even though she did get suspended 2 games, it's like, okay, those were 2 games that is probably not gonna affect them that much. They're at the beginning of the season. Everybody's still trying to figure each other out. So I would have liked it to be maybe 4 or 5 games. I feel like it was a little light as well, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm just happy as, people were reprimanded and it was swift. So it's better than nothing. I'll put it like that.
Yeah. No one, really quick, going to the Aces roster, I think the first round pick might end up being a big deal. So listen to who they're losing over the next couple of years potentially. If they don't re-sign, they probably are re-signing all these players. Next year, someone named Asia Wilson is an unrestricted free agent.
Mm-hmm.
We have Raquana Williams, Candace Parker. Then in 2025, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Alicia Clark. So I have a feeling most of those players are coming back, but it's not a guarantee. I honestly did not think Stewie was going to lead the Storm. I honestly didn't. And you just never know what's going to happen in this time. So
we could be talking about Asia come to Atlanta. You never know.
We really could. And again, they had a good relationship at the All-Star game. I'm just saying.
Yes, I'm just saying. Pretty please, like please. But
I think I really do think that happens eventually. I don't know in 2024, but I do believe Ryan and Asia.
They will be playing together, and it will be, be in Atlanta probably. So we're gonna put that in the atmosphere. Be intentional.
We really
remember that. Yeah,
but it was really disheartening, like to find out it came from the coach, though.
That was raggedy. I'm so
and
sorry.
I reread the tweet, like what she put on Instagram again, and it's like that's really tough. Like, not gonna go too much into it, but saying that someone didn't live up to their contract, like broke it because they got pregnant, they didn't know it.
The timelines think that she probably didn't even know.
I agree with you. Maybe the suspension should have been more. I'm more leaning towards more games than you did. But one thing I can tell you, I know we're going over games each week where we're going to make predictions, but I'm going to make one now. De'Erica and the Sparks beat the Aces in Las Vegas coming up. I think they played them in the 3rd game. I'm telling you.
That's a bold prediction.
Hambie is going to have the team fired up. I like the Sparks a little more this season. Now, you can't quote tweet me on this because it's on a, can't.
Oh, I can clip it. I can always clip it.
But you're a Sparks fan, so you want to do that to me. So
I wouldn't do that to you. Nah, yeah. I won't do that to you.
But I want it for Hambie, and I would like to hear more from both sides. I doubt we're gonna get it.
But, we're not gonna
what happened?
Yeah,
Hambie seems happy, and it's a good team.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're on the Sparks,
mm-hmm.
I feel like their roster's mostly finalized, and I don't know if you saw this. I believe it was a tweet, but someone mentioned that Dearica Hamby called the owner saying that they want to start this season. Like they wanted to get.
Listen. If Dearica Hamby starts this year, I need y'all to understand. I'm going to be unbearable because that is a death lineup for everybody else.
It is.
That is
There's questions
scary
on
business.
Like like defensive matchups, but still, that's a monster. Other teams have had those questions too. Like,
and they were shut up very quickly.
They really were.
Better than the 3-guard lineup that we got going on. I'm not so confident in that, but it did work for the first preseason game. The second one, it was what it was. But I mean,
we couldn't see it on TV, so what do we know? Maybe it was
exactly.
Working
What do we know? What do we know? But it's very, very interesting.
Oh, and she talked about it in video. Interesting. Like, I want to look at that. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I need that. But yeah, it's like I'm very, very interested to see what that will look like. Because I talked about it early in the season. I kind of went away from it for a minute, but I'm back on it. I'm back on the train of Nneka at the 3. I'm really am.
Thank you.
I'm back on it. I'm here. And I feel like Dearica has so much to play for now. And I really feel the camaraderie of the team as a whole. Because, like, it was literally just video of, I think they were helping Dearica take her hair down. I can't remember who it was. I don't know. Because, like, you never see whose face it is. But I feel like it was Dearica because she did have braids. So they were taking her hair down, like, just now on her IG stories. Like, several players was like helping her take her hair down. So, like, stuff like that, especially as a Black woman, because that's the worst thing in the world, having to take your hair down. Like, taking down braids is hell sometimes. Yeah. And, like, seeing something like that just lets you know that there is care on this team. They're taking care of each other. Yeah. They're loving on each other. And they got a good chemistry going, like, off the court. So, off the court, if everything's good, on the court, they'll figure it out, whether it's going great or not. So,
yeah,
I'm confident going in.
Yeah, I'm confident. You should be. Yeah. So, and Nneka deserves another good team where, like, because I could go on and on Nneka, so I'll just keep it at that for right now. But yeah, she deserves to have a good team, and
definitely.
Jumping back to the dream for just a second, to Todrick's question, I feel like it's really similar to last season, where if Aerie outplays the other point guard, in this case Robinson, the job can be hers. Like, there just wasn't. There were times where Aerie had spurts, but it wasn't consistent all season, or enough above Wheeler to take the starting role. But I think she's going to have opportunities, and we've talked about this. This is a big season for Aerie as far as her future. Like, if she shows out, like, she's going to be the point guard for a team that is going to be really, really good. The floor of this is just her being an energy player that's first off the bench, like she's used now, like a really efficient defender, great 3-point shooter, and like can drive to the basket with that speed. Like, like that's her floor. Like, she belongs in the W, deserves to be getting 20 to 25 minutes a game. But the next question is, can she take that progression and be a starter in this league? And that's what we want to find out this season. So we didn't get someone. Yeah, no, me too. And we talked about this. Like, we didn't sign someone that like was used to playing like 30, 35 minutes. Like, we got Robinson from the Fever last season that averaged like a little over 20 minutes. I want to say like 23 minutes a game. So, but like, it's going to be an ongoing battle, just like the 4 will be. So, yeah,
exactly. So, which breeds great competition, though. Like,
it does.
It can push you in a great direction if you have somebody that's competing against you during practice. Like that, like, just that competition is going to make you a better player. So if you want the playing time, it's there for you. Go grab it. And I feel like she's waking up to that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
At
No,
this
and we
point,
weren't able to
like,
see the last game still. Like it wasn't posted like other ones. But looking at the box score, and shout out to Ryan's mom.
Putting things together. Yeah, shout out to Ryan's mom.
But
that was love, mama. That was love.
And her trash talk was funny during the game too. But
Mama be on it. Let me tell you, Ryan's mom is a hoot. I love her. Shout out to her mom. We love it. We love it.
But even with us being able to see it, it was just hard, like getting a full grasp of what was going on. But again, like much improvement in the 0 turnovers, more efficient shot. Like sign. That's what we're looking for. So
we like that.
Yeah. All right. Now, do you want to go the cuts or more good news?
I mean, let's get the bad news out the way first, and then we can get to the good.
What are some cuts that were really hard for you today? Like, obviously, a lot of them were, I hate this part of the game. First of all, there should be expanded rosters, like at least something around 15.
Expanded rosters.
Expanded teams. Like, they're like the personnel there to have more players in this league, and it sucks that some of these players cut today we're going to see and only small spurts this season or not at all, and it sucks. So just want to say that first. Another thing really quick. Just because a player gets cut, does that mean that you just trash the league? And if your player makes it and another person doesn't, it's not an opportunity to dog on someone else. It's a really hard time on the player, and it's a hard on that fan base. So just want to put that out there.
It's rough. It's rough out here.
It's a really hard time for a lot of people.
A lot of people.
And people talk about this is the most competitive league to get into, and I completely agree with it. Like 11 to 12 spots on each team, that's really hard. So
that's rough.
Yeah.
But it hurt. It hurt my soul.
What are some cuts that
hurt my soul?
Yeah, like that just really
just ripped my heart out.
Yeah.
Man, Bree Bill is one of them.
Yeah.
Henny.
Yeah. And they were just two players. I unfortunately saw those two in preseason game usage. Beal didn't come in until like the third quarter, and then Henny only played a couple minutes. So
that was wild. It hurt. Actually, like some Sparks cuts came through. Carly Samuelson and Ray Burrell.
Yeah.
And that just lets me further know that Neck is gonna be the 3. But it's still like that still hurt though. It's like because like you watch these players, you grow attached to them, and they just gone.
They can't even develop after being drafted. Like it sucks.
Exactly.
It's just a flawed system.
If you get hurt,
it needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me, and I'm sorry, I am gonna be propping our like the WNBA organization up more after this. But saying that the roster situation as it is now is fine is just absolute cussing wrong. Like you can't tell me the hardship system that we have now is working. Like it would be so much better each team having 3 practice squad rosters. They're able to develop into that system. And like especially for the younger players, they can come in and like be there. Like you don't have to sign someone who hasn't been in your system. Like it would just make the league so much better. And people will be rewarded for drafting well. Like you get to hold on to those players, and then when the time comes when someone departs, you can immediately insert them in, and you can get props even more for your drafting. Like at this point,
it makes so much more sense.
It can't stay the way it is now, and I hope it doesn't take until the CBA expiring to make that change.
Please, God, please.
But I have a feeling where it's not going to.
They're going to opt out early. They're going to opt out next year because at this point, what choice do they have other than do that? Because they're going
especially with how much the league has grown, and
exactly in that amount of time, like it's literally 4 years, and it really after the first year they outgrew it. They outgrew it very quickly with the Wobble season because everybody was in one spot and everybody was watching. Like they had so many things working for their good that it was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be just like that. It was over with.
And yeah, again, hoping for change. Going back to heart-wrenching, I'll start with one. Jasmine Walker played so well in AAU. She was healthy. She belongs in this league. Like, that one hurt me. Sika Kone on the New York Liberty, that happened right before we got on. Like, before she got injured, like, I thought she was a potential first-round pick. Like, I'm hoping those two players get picked up. But again, like with the ones you mentioned, teams were already struggling with filling those with finding roster space with what they had in camp already. It's very rare to get picked up by another team once you get cut. It's very rare, unfortunately. Only happens a couple of times. So, like, Amina Westbrook is pretty much the only one once training camp began of someone who was cut and brought back on. And then the Leah Brown trade, that's why she was able to stay on, because she was directly traded. So it's hard. So
it is.
The players we're bringing up, like, they deserve to still be developing in the W. It just sucks, again, how the current system is. There's not a way. Nia Clouden also, you predicted that one, and
I did. I hate that I hate it because, I hate because it was nothing against her, but I just thought that was like the easiest move to make. It was a very easy move. Man, it's rough. It's rough. And then also, the Liberty's mascot, Dee Richards, finally got cut, and that sucks so bad.
It does.
I hate it. I hate it for her,
Me too. Though she is not going to struggle finding opportunities to make money, but again,
she's going to be making it bad.
Defenders, like, we want it more offensively, but defensively, like, someone you can plug in and improves that side of the ball, like someone that deserves in the league. So, and I don't think, like, Todrick, I'm fine with our roster. I personally would not go with Dee. Like, I feel like we want to go with who we have, and I'm fine with experimenting with what we have.
Me too.
But some good news, I believe I DM'd you. Yeah, I did. Off of Instagram. Oh, Phoenix just made cuts? Oh, shoot. And this is the fun thing to get live? Okay. Yes. Well, not the fun thing for this part, but
yeah, we hate that part, but we'll see who's. Yikes. Who is it?
I'm trying to look. Where is Phoenix? Okay, there we go. Okay, Jenny Simpson and Sam Thomas. Okay, so nothing too surprising there.
Okay, nothing crazy.
I was just about to bring up the Mercury too. Someone was posting themselves in a Mercury t-shirt on the basketball court, and her name is Skylar Dickens-Smith. Who
what else is she gonna wear?
It's true, but if she was being traded like I thought might have been happening, I don't feel like she would be wearing Mercury apparel.
Man, her and BG must have had a long talk.
So do you think that she's coming back now? Oh, and really quick, I just want to say in my last fantasy draft, I drafted her in the last round. Just want to put that out there.
It won't happen again. It won't happen again.
It won't happen again. You're right.
It won't happen again.
But do you think, from your tone, like, you're sounding confident that she's going to be playing too?
Here's the thing. With her, like, you don't know how far along she is in her progression in playing the season. Like, we don't know how old her baby is or if she's been hitting the gym. Like, we don't know where she is with her training. But do I think that she won't try to give it another go with Phoenix just off the strength of her friendship with BG and her being, like, extremely happy that BG is back on the floor? I'm not ready to put that to rest yet, just because last time, 2021, they were in the finals. Just saying.
Yeah.
And they have unfinished business. Not saying it's gonna get taken care of this year, because looking at the roster, probably not. But Do I
their
feel
point
like
guard depth would at least be good with SDS and
yeah,
then
it would be
Mariah
better.
Jefferson coming off the bench? Like, that's
It would
not
be
bad.
much
It's just
better.
pretty much every
It
other
would be
position.
yeah, exactly. That's the problem. But with saying that, I will say that even though we love to speculate that Skylar is going to get traded, or we don't know what her getting out of there would probably be the best bet for her. But I really do feel like off the strength of BG and Skylar's friendship, which they have like a pretty good bond from what I can see, and I just don't see them. And plus, like they came in the league together, like they were the three to see. They were two of the three to see in 2013 when they got drafted. So it's like, well, they're linked together. Their legacies are tied together at this point. So it's like, why not just ride it out? Why not ride it out and see what happens? Because like, really, it would be more satisfying to me as a player to leave the team high and dry as opposed to getting traded and them getting something back from me when they didn't accommodate me at all or give me my props. I feel like that would be it would be more petty, and that's my and petty is my middle name. And I mean with Skylar, I mean Leo Petty is the best type of petty. It's the best petty.
Like they have not treated her right. Like saying it's not an all-star game when a player wasn't chosen and SDS was.
It's so trash.
I got multiple things. Like, so I'm just like you said, I think it took a very heart-to-heart and between her and BG, and maybe something came from that. So
something.
But like I have not seen a single person not put the Mercury in the playoffs, and I am not one of those people. And did you have them in the playoffs? I can't remember last time.
I want to say they were either 7. I want to say if I had them in there were 7 because I didn't have them going any higher than 7 because it's just impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible for them to make the playoffs because, like, let's be for real. BG is enough.
It is. No, like if she's healthy and ready to go, then
exactly.
That's tough.
She's proven that she is just from the first preseason game, and then plus if Skylar plays,
SDS is back. That's a game changer. So
yeah, if she's like in good playing shape, who's like, come on, just the two of them off the strength of them two, I feel like they could do it. But like for them to be any higher than 7, y'all, I almost said something I shouldn't have said. But yeah, y'all not thinking with this. I'm just saying, y'all not using.
But if that is the case, then maybe they knew something that we didn't. But
I mean,
people bringing up in the chat that they have openings, they like out of any team, they're the ones that are the wild card. Like one of the biggest wild cards right now, and I don't think they're fully committed to the people they have on training camp contracts. I think Westbrook will make it, at least I hope. But
I hope so. Yeah.
They don't really, if SDS doesn't come back, they don't really have a backup point guard. So someone like Henny, someone like Clouden could potentially find a spot here.
Henny.
Also, their front court, they don't really have much depth.
They don't.
And I do not want one of the players I really like going to the Mercury, but Sika Kone, like there would be a spot there and she would get playing time, and man, so
it's
possibilities. Glenn brought up the Dallas Wings, so that was a little of a journey today too. It first came reported that she had gotten the rookie extension, and I was like, what? She's going to have a guaranteed contract next season? That was corrected, so she isn't. I don't think she makes the roster.
She doesn't. Ain't no way.
And I wish the decision. In New York. Exactly. And I wish the decision would have been made quicker because, like, she should have had the opportunity to go to other teams that did not establish their front court. Again, there's going to be teams she can go to, but yeah, if she is cut, like, I wish players were cut now so they at least have a couple days before Thursday to be reached out to teams and give them the best opportunity for something that is already really hard. So I wish, yeah, the waiving people time was Tuesday, and then, you pick people up on Wednesday and Thursday. I wish something like that was happening, but it is what it is. But
it's rough.
It's really rough. Yeah.
I just wish it was more cut and dry. Like, I really wish that roster expansion was something that was like more so like being taken seriously, especially
I
now.
do too.
It needs to be taken seriously as soon as possible, because if you got to make an extra, like, I don't know what cap is now. I want to say it's like around like
1,420,000.
They could easily, they need to push that to like 2 million and let it rock. Like, because it's really insane that a lot of these players have to be cut to make space, like just to have fit a roster space, like a roster size. Because like there's teams that could roll with 13 or 14 players and they can't keep them because they have to go to 12.
No kidding.
Like, it's insane.
I forgot. I should have made a note on this, but there was someone that tweeted, and I never thought of this idea, because unfortunately, like, cap space is a really hard topic for. Just gonna leave it at that. One person brought up 3 players on each team being able to be covered room and board, like a medium, like to purchase food, gas, like what they need there and everything, but they're not on official salary. They can still pursue their own opportunities, but they're with the team. They get the practice, and then when if someone gets injured,
then
they're immediately brought on, and they've been practicing and everything, and it doesn't count towards the cap space. So that's not my sense. It's not my favorite idea, because again, they're not on. Like, they're not getting paid by the team. Like, they're getting what they need, but they're not getting paid. But it would be a step in the right direction. Like you said, it would make sense doing something. Because keeping it how it is now, it's just... Oh, and that was Wheeler? Okay. Yeah. So
at least 2, but I'd rather 3.
My ideal, my dream is a 3-on-3 league where each team has 4 players that are on the practice roster. That's my dream. And then they have like 250 cap space, so they can't like dump a contract in there to like use it in their favor. But like, I don't know, like they have to be making like less than 80,000 or something, and then they're able to be on there. Like, it would just be such a great opportunity to practice and develop. So. Yeah, it's just really hard. Idea. Like, this is my least favorite week of the W, and it should be all about excitement for the season. And every year, it's just
stress.
Yeah, and I bring it up over and over to myself and on the timeline, like, "Hey, these cuts are gonna be hard," and it's never, it never makes it easy, and there is unfortunately still more to come.
Yeah, that's the worst part. It's just. It's one of those things that we have to deal with every year. It does not get easier. It gets harder, because it's people that, because they were able to stick last year, doesn't mean they're gonna be able to stick this year, and that's rough. That's a rough existence.
Because again, we have the double draft classes coming in. Like, if roster expansion doesn't happen by next season, feelings are hurt now. Feelings are really going to be hurt next season. Like, if something does not change, it's going to be a disaster. So, but for right now, let's get back to positive things. So, I'm actually, I don't know, we're going to wait for the ads. I was telling Annie this, but they have added some features to the app. Like, it looks like a little crisp. Like, I'm liking the overall look. They have a high scores option, which a lot of people have been bringing up. I don't know. Like, I'm liking the direction that's going. That they have a partnership with YouTube. It looks like, where you can get it for $7.99. So, like, I like the different ways that we're trying to grow the game, in that direction and everything. And then I don't know. Like, I feel like we could be building momentum.
Yeah, I feel like
anything outside of crypto, please.
Yes, please.
Thank
you.
Keep it to the Commissioner's Cup game. I'm sure there's like an agreement there. Sure, just keep it there.
Of course.
But not go beyond there. And sorry, go ahead.
But like honestly though, it seems like she's finally trying to create revenue, which would help with a lot of the problems that we have. I'm gonna give Kathy a little something because I'm not a big Kathy fan at all. But I will say, if you're bringing on partners like that, especially YouTube TV, like I love
a lot of
YouTube
people use
TV.
that. I don't use it, but that's great.
Yeah, it's incredible. I really do love it. And just the fact that, you partner with somebody like that, it gives like, generating that type of revenue is going to be great for the league. And then going into contract negotiations, you got an upper hand. If things working out, then you can up that bid and be like, all right, so this is what I need.
Exactly.
You have more leverage if you're creating these partnerships already. So it's like, hey, when the negotiation is up, hey, let's get the ball rolling. That's when the dough comes in. So, I mean, kudos for this one.
Yeah,
I'll give you that one. I'll give her that one.
I agree.
That's all she's gonna get, but we'll roll with it.
And Jewel Bell, we talked about Leah Brown earlier. It was really hard because none of the three players that were competing for a spot had a bad preseason, like that we talked about. Like they all played solid, did what they were asked. So
yeah,
it's awesome that the player that we chose not to move on with was traded to a team that wanted to utilize her and have her on the roster. Like,
yeah,
if we had expanded rosters, no way do we trade Leah Brown. No way. Like, she's able to develop with us. We get more Leah Nas content. Everybody's happy, but with how things are now, we had to pick one of those three players, and then we're going to have to pick another of those players once Rupert comes back. So, yeah. It hurts. It's hard. The trade hurt me too. I was rooting for her to be drafted, and it just
I was rooting for her to stick.
So it is what it is. Again, AD was knocking down shots. Lorella was doing everything asked. Like, went 3 for 3 in one game. Made smart reads. Like,
it's hard to let it go, man. That's hard.
Every one of those players deserved to be on the roster, and it just wasn't feasible. So. Yeah.
Hate it. It's rough.
But yeah. So I think that's all I have. I want to do one more episode closer to the season. We'll go over power rankings one more time, and then I want to predict games for the weekend.
All right.
So
we can do that.
We pick games for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. See how we do. I definitely have some choices that other people would not. So
I'm sure.
Ready. I'm sure you do too.
That.
So
it's gonna
be fun. And we're gonna try to sneak a Dream vs. Wings marathon because 2020 we played them in the opener, and last season we played them in the opener, and both of those times went pretty well. So we just want to put some positive vibes. So be on the lookout.
Really,
for that.
like 3 times in a row if we being for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, really, like 3 of the last 4. I want to say yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna be. I'm excited.
Whatever it is, we're gonna have another one on Saturday. That's all I know. So
did you catch Lakin's comment?
And no, Lakin, it was a Jasmine Dickey jersey. I wore it backwards. Really loved her game in college, rooting for her wherever she goes, including Dallas. But no, the Wings were on the bottom 4 list. We came up with teams that were on our least favorite. The Wings were on that list. I love a lot of the players. I just don't like. Yeah. And no, I do not support. I'm not going to say their name out loud. But no, do not support how that organization is being ran and stuff.
Diabolical.
Lakin is stirring trouble.
Yes. Diabolical. I see you, sis. I feel that. Love the energy when it's not directed towards me.
Yeah. Don't want to put those clouds in your direction and everything.
Here he goes.
You were going along with Lakeland, so anyway.
Okay, never just let me.
Now that's too far. That's too far, Lakin. Neither of us would do that. I don't know who you're talking to. Neither of us would do that. So.
I paid extra to not have to get her jersey. That's just how crazy it is for me. I paid an extra like $30 to get Benaj Delaney's jersey instead.
While we're on the subject, that's one of the things I'm still waiting. I'm not going to give League Pass a full A+ grade yet. I need to see the ads because there was some content that I was a little concerned about when we were watching a preseason game. If I have to see that all season long, I'm going to have some problems. So
I'm going to barf.
I want to see how that content is once the regular season starts. If particular content is there, it has to be docked a little bit. So
I feel that.
Just leaving it there. No, like okay.
Now, why would you ever
out of control?
See, this is why you can't give people props, right? Lakey, you're dragging it. Why are you dragging us like this? I thought you loved this. Why would you do
really
this
did
like
too.
This?
Yeah.
Man. Boo. Boo, Lakey.
Boo. I agree. We don't have the tomato emoji, but just know we're sending it.
I know. Tomato, tomato, tomato.
But that's all for today's episode. But on Thursday, we'll be making some predictions. I definitely have some changes from when I did it before training camp. I'm sure Amber does too.
Absolutely.
And we'll go from there. I'm going to try to pull up our power rankings, and then I'll say how much I had them higher up from last time and everything, and you can do the same and stuff. So,
yep, I got you.
But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This was a fun show. Have your favorite dessert today. Have like a meal that makes you happy. If someone you're worried about getting cut is on the fringe, or someone that did get cut, like just that those individual players, those fans, treat yourself. It's a rough week.
Be kind.
Be kind.
Be kind to yourself and be kind to others.
Exactly.
It's rough out here.
But again, thanks for tuning in. Everybody have a great night.
See y'all later.
Bye.